Hello everyone, this is Cora's Landwalker, and this afternoon we have another exciting bit of flying doing in Star Citizen. If I sound a little off today, apologies. I seem to be having a little bit of throat issues here. Hopefully it will not be so bad that I have to postpone anything. Knock on wood. Before we get rolling, a reminder. In a little under 2 weeks, we have the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2951. The expo will include things like free flight, access to every ship in the game, well, new vehicle announcements, paints. We got Whitley's Guide fellows, Jax McCleary. We won't inflict them on you at the moment. The schedule, pretty straightforward. I will be streaming on day 2, which will be featuring RSI. I might as well mention in advance that I may or may not be streaming on the 27th, which is the MISC day. It really depends on how soon I get home from Thanksgiving holiday. If things go well, there'll be a stream. If things don't go well, there won't be a stream. Actually, if things go well, there might not be a stream. It really depends on circumstance. But I'll try to let you know next week where things stand with that. Or at the very least, I'll let you know on the 20th. I should figure it out by then. Mother Nature gets involved too sometimes, so. If you have an interest in trying out the game, I would like to recommend using my handy referral link, which I have no idea if is going to work because I think the cloud bot is currently being cranky right now. So I'm not entirely sure if any of my commands are working. Nope. None of my commands are working. Awesome. Oh, it's always great to see that my bots are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Not. Okay, well, with that out of the way, why don't we get into things? Yes, here I am, among the garbage of Grimhex. Try not to read anything into that. Why am I here? Because I just found out.
But now I have the power.
What's going on?
War is coming.
There's no stopping what happens now.
I am getting on my input
You don't understand
commercials.
what's at stake.
Prepare to defend your people.
You won't win a war against them.
I have to try.
What's going on?
Here we go.
This has been happening a lot on my streams lately, that I go online, and I'm starting to stream and all that, and at some point, I'm hearing in my headsets commercials or music or something going on in the background. It doesn't propagate, and I think I go to dead space on my speaker. I don't know. I have no idea what the heck is going on. In any event, 3.15 is not yet live. I'm mildly perturbed at this, especially since we are less than 2 weeks out from the expo, and they have another patch that's supposed to, lead into the expo. So this is a bad, bad sign. I mean, they're already hideously late with this patch. It's the Q3 patch, and here we are coming up to mid-November, in the middle of Q4. Doesn't bode well, does it? Now, in anticipation of the fact that we are about to have a new patch and include a complete wipe, excuse me a moment, I am hoping to get a little bit of last use from the inventory system as it stands, plus, the ships I have. And since the 30K rudely interrupted my stream last week, interrupted it so hard that pretty much crashed the client completely, we're going to do more crime. And we're not even going to be subtle about it this time around. Let's see. Asteroids. I kind of want to do a ground mission, so... Unfortunately, there are no ground missions available here for crime. Apparently, I haven't been evil enough. I could try Rudo again. But I don't want to hear him griping about how I screwed up the last thing. And that was because, you know, the aforementioned 30... You know, actually, now that I think about it, I think we actually did okay with him. No, nevertheless, I have an urge to kill people, so... Caria feels like a great place to start, doesn't it? Especially since, you know, there might be players there, so we could have some extra entertainment. Just in case. And while we're at it, always take call to arms. If I want to kill somebody with a crime stat, I might as well get paid. Okay. Let's take a ship. Let's see. I don't want to take too big a ship, but I need to have something that has a quantum drive. Argo, cargo. Yeah, that's not working. That's not going to work. I'm not going to take the Mercury either, because I still have Widow on board there, and still need to sell that off. That feeling answer might be a little large. 300i. That feels like a great choice. Because if you're going to do something involving multiple homicides, might as well do it in luxury. Hangar 2. The 300i is an Origin starship, and it's basically a luxury fighter. Kind of. This isn't really the fighter variant, but it can fight. I just don't recommend it fight. You'll also notice that I'm not quite climbing the ladder properly there. Ladders have been kind of screwy this patch. I'm hoping that 3.15 will fix that. Your guess is as good as mine. Before we take off, let's make sure that the guns are where they're supposed to be. Yep. Guns and ammo, exactly as I want. That's unusual. I'll do a little bit of restock and refuel first. Excuse me. It's likely to be a lot of throat clearing today. Okay. I seem to have put most of my power into my engines. I think I took off from Morrison. We'll reset my power. Open sesame. As usual, gotta be careful leaving Grim Hex, because they're so involved with safety that they put huge asteroids right in front of their hangar bays. Out we go. Now that I'm theoretically no longer pointed towards anything rocky and instant deathy destructive, all I can say is likely to be a poor day if anybody is over at Caria and trying to hack their crime stat, because, like as not, they're going to suddenly have a number of hostiles spawning in on top of them. Now that could be good and that could be bad, because I'm not entirely sure what threshold I consider to be failing. Now that we've done that, I'm going to take a quick peek over my contract manager, and I'm going to determine where the suspect here is. Okay, he is clearly not at Caria at the moment, because otherwise it would have blipped in front of me. Good. So theoretically, the only people I have to worry about are bad people. Of course, that's theory. Reality is not always the same as theory. Now, because I do not have a crime stat, the turrets are not going to fire on me, and I should be, theoretically, completely safe. Heh, theoretically. Kicked on the auto land, because why not? Kill the engines, but leave the power on, because that way it'll leave the shields up. And that's something that could become important. Yeah, see what I mean about the ladder? Alright, let's see. P6LR is not loaded. What about my C54? Well, C54 is okay. This kind of thing is going to be really annoying once physicalized inventory rolls in. Get another sniper rifle round to put on my suit. No, I didn't check to see if I had a tacit suppressor on there. I guess I better check that before I actually start kicking things up. Tacit suppressors are basically silencers. I do. That said, if there's somebody right out here, I want to spray him immediately. No? No. Good. Oh, there's a guy right here. And he's looking right at me. Unfortunately, this scope is a screwed up scope, so let me see if I can do a quick replacement. Sometimes this works and sometimes this doesn't. Better. I need a scope that I'll be able to actually see. Not a scope that'll, obscure my vision. be able to see my targets. Oh, speaking of whom. Ah! No, come on. Oh man, his head's going to be tricky. Damn. It wasn't a kill shot. That's going to be a problem. I don't want to throw a grenade up there because, well, for one thing, I'm not all that confident that my grenade will actually get the target. No, we're just going to have to consider that a loss for now. Whoops. Oh, come on! You know, once upon a time, I could rely on a P6LR to do single-shot kills. To say I'm disappointed is not really, really understating things. Nobody here. A little surprising. I kind of expected somebody to be in this section. Oh, is that a guy over there? Yes. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. P6LR, silent and deadly. And I hear somebody's voice. We might have to start going into the loud and panicky mode momentarily. I see you. Oh, it looks like he might see me. Ooh, nice. Evil bastard in corner pocket. Okay, we've just gone to the loud and obnoxious phase. Well, they know I'm here now. Subtlety is no longer a part of our arsenal. Now it's get them before they get me. Where are they? There are two targets somewhere. Don't know where. Except it will probably be in a place that is the most inconvenient for me. If I were a criminal scumbag, where would I be hiding? Okay, I thought maybe it'd be a guy here, but obviously not. I am just about ready to say that wherever they are, they're on the ground floor. Don't see anybody moving over there, but that means nothing. And it's always possible that my enemies are currently mobile. Don't really want to be going in here at this point, but there's excellent odds that the enemy is in here somewhere. Of course, they may also be hanging around the doors. Where are you guys? Well, they're doing a very good job on getting me to the point where I'm being more complacent. Not being as cautious, being a little more reckless. That's going to get me killed. And still nobody. I'm tempted to start collecting guns. Okay, I know at one point there was a guy up here. I might as well storm the, Okay, well, that strategy is not going quite the way I expected it to. If only he had paid more attention to what was going on his left. Whoops. Ow. That did not go the way it was supposed to. Oh, look who's over there. Targets clear. And just like that, the job is done. Time to go to landing zone 2. Get back in the ship and head back out into open space before the pirates come by. A successful beginning. Despite the occasional issues with the ammunition pack of my P6LR sniper rifle. Oh, please don't get me stuck into geometry. Oh, thank God. Okay, now that I'm situated, let's take care of my ammo clips. Now, I will not be able to do this again in the near future. In the near future, like when 3.15 lands, everything's going to be handled by the physicalized inventory, and this entire tab in the Moby Glass will be replaced. How's that going to work out in the end? Your guess is as good as mine. Well, I guess your guess might be better than mine if you'd paid attention to, shall we say, better streamers than I, who've been playing on the PTU. Public Test Universe, way to go. Okay, okay, let's check contracts. Clear criminal nest. I think we have a winner. Go to a cave on Daymar. Now, there are a number of individuals who I play with who would sooner gnaw off their legs than go to Daymar, or more specifically, go to a cave in Daymar and do a ground mission. Especially if they're flying a ship that doesn't have a respawn bay. Me, however, I'm all about rocking the boat. Okay, let's see. Nearest target is Wolf Point Aid Shelter. And then I'm going to have to eyeball it the rest of the way. That's not a problem. I can do that. 300i is not exactly a bad ship to be flying. It's reasonably aerodynamic. Ooh, quantum interdiction alert. Something's ahead. Is it a bad guy? Or is it a wreck? Oh, I am not receiving any information about hostile targets. So I'll have to assume there was a wreck somewhere nearby and I was about to plow through it at quantum speed. Sometimes you can see that, sometimes you can't. And of course, for all I know, might have been a bug. I mean, and I'm going to tell you all a secret here. Star Citizen has a few bugs. Okay, maybe that's not such a big secret. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Brake and realign. If I can cut down roughly 180 of the kilometers of distance, I'll take it. Yeah, as it turns out, I didn't exactly close 180 distance. Looks like most of it was vertical. That's okay though, because now we are prepared to go in at top velocity towards the cave. I'm still 16 kilometers above the surface, give or take. So it might be a slight drive. But momentarily we will be below 100 kilometers away. Right now. Yes. "90 kilometers away, 8 kilometers up." It's probably a good thing that I'm tilting somewhat, because the location might be just below the horizon on the other side of the horizon. And the last thing we want to do here is splatter across the surface of Daymar. Not to put too fine a point on it, that would suck. We are 50 kilometers away and closing. Let's take a better look at the ship as we're flying it, even though it's, in the middle of the night. Origin usually makes some pretty attractive looking ships. Clearly they're looking for the folks who are interested in Mercedes-Benz. Not in, say, F51 truck. "17 kilometers. It's time to start hitting the brakes hard." Luckily, small ships have fast acceleration, and even more to the point, fast deceleration. Especially when you do reverse afterburners. I'm going to kick on the flood lamps. "9 kilometers, closing in." "7 kilometers, closing in." Now, at some point, I think that the marker for eliminate hostiles might disappear, so I'm going to kind of point myself directly at the target now. Just in case it, yep, it just disappeared, so I want to make sure that I don't overshoot it. Because then I'll be just forever trying to relocate. We are close enough to the ground now that the light is beginning to be visible. But more to the point, is that it? No, that's not it. I may have overshot it, because I'm not seeing it. And that's a problem, because if you can't see where you're going, you're in trouble. During the daylight, it would probably have been a little easier to see. For that matter, why the heck do I still have my quantum drive up? Let me see if I can get it back by tracking the contract again. My situation has not improved. If anything, it's gotten worse. You know, you do your best to stay on target, and what does it get you? And now we're getting a dust storm on top of all of that. So now we have what is commonly referred to as a significant problem. Okay, I really don't see a choice behind this. I have to try to go up, up, up far enough that maybe the marker will reset itself. And it has. Excellent. Stop, stop, stop. Stop! Honestly, the marker going away, that's just awful. Either leave the marker there or never give it to me, but don't yank the football away when I'm about to kick it, Lucy. There are times when some of the things that this game does can be very frustrating. But, as this, I hope, has demonstrated, they can be worked around. Yes, you go away this time, but this time I'm coming straight down, practically. Stop, 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 stop. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. You can see the little lighting over there. If I turn off my light, you'll see it better. That is the way in. Drop the gear.
Landing gear deployed. Landing complete.
Once again, engines off, but shields left up. Not that I'm really expecting anybody to go here, but still. Weird things can happen. It's Star Citizen. I always expect weird things to happen. Now, the great thing about a cave on Daymar is that the temperature is perfect. You don't have to worry about hot suits or cold suits. The temperature is just right. You know, I went to specifically replace the... I really hope this isn't a problem when we have the inventory management system for 3.15. I really do, because I went out of my way to put in a new P6LR magazine. I do not want it to tell me I don't have it. Now let's try this again. Better. Gee, Merry Christmas. Sometimes... Word to the wise for those interested in Star Citizen. If you can't handle little things like bugs happening, then this may not be the game for you. But if it is the game for you, let's see if the bot is working now. Go ahead and click the link there to make an account on the RSI site. They're going to be doing a free fly in slightly under 2 weeks. If you buy a package, if you're happy enough with the game and you buy a package, you'll even get a free lifetime insured Argo cargo. It's really a tiny little ship kind of thing, not even a quantum drive and all that. But it was also the best in show during the ship showdown, which means you'll also get a special paint job, maybe a jacket. Things are a little fuzzy at the moment. But it's something you can upgrade to a better ship with and have lifetime insurance on, so, you know, that ain't a bad thing. I have 12 targets in this cave. And one of them is right there. Don't be shining your flashlight at me. I should change my weapon zeroing. I don't know how far they are, but I'd prefer not to have surprises. Incidentally, if you're claustrophobic, this may not be for you either. Ooh, perfect shot, right in the faceplate. And there's someone else flashing their flashlight around there. He might be behind those rocks. Oh, no, he's coming behind. 3 kills. Oh, this is going great. One-shot kills. The P6LR is living up to its reputation once more. 4 kills. Is that guy over there? Oh, hold on. Don't get back up. Okay, the P6OR failed me on that one. I can't tell if there's anybody else in here. I'm kind of inclined to believe no. But you know, the moment you stop being cautious about that kind of thing is the moment you have someone opening a submachine gun on you and killing you off. Now, why did Streamlabs do that twice? It must have had my first one in a queue for their referral code. That's annoying. On the other hand, why should Streamlabs be exempt from the Star Citizen bugginess? Even though they have nothing to do with each other, why not? Okay, this room is clear. It's time to go deeper into the depths. Yeah, claustrophobes need not apply to cave missions. Because, you know, claustrophobia. Didn't really think anybody would be down that passage, but it was worth a look. Flashy light, but I think that's more from a lamp than someone's flashlight. Feel the tension. Yeah, I didn't think anybody would be that way either. I sure hope the guy in chat isn't trying to find the same cave I'm working. Oops. I apologize. Oh, but he's also still alive because I don't have a kill count. Stand back up. Stand back up. Where are you? Okay, well, if I can't have him... I'll take him instead. But I know the other guy's hiding behind those crates there. I'm going to need to reload my gun shortly. I see you! Unfortunately, it wasn't a kill shot. Again! I really don't want to do what I'm thinking of doing. But I might end up doing it anyway. Where the hell is he? Where'd he go? Little scumbag's pulling a retreat, isn't he? That one's dead, but I don't know if he's the same guy I've been trying to snipe at over here, so... Well, we'll just have to assume that that was him. Primarily because I don't have very many other options. Let's kind of sneak around over here. Unfortunately, I have 7 shots left and I have 6 targets left. And I'm going to try to exercise ammo discipline by not going into the magic hammer space and refilling everything. I'm doing this mission with the ammo that is on my suit and nothing else. I don't count the reload I did at the beginning of this mission because I would have checked these details and made sure everything was clipped and ready to go before I started. As a general rule, when you're doing these cave missions, going down is usually never a bad choice. Usually. Sometimes, though, it kind of works out that you're going a different direction. Oh, man, get that light out of my face. Okay, well, it looks like I might have to do something I really don't want to do here. Okay, this might be a faster way. Well, let me rephrase that. Faster really isn't the right term. Safer. I mean, I can drop all the way to the bottom there, but I might break bones. Even in the lower gravity of Daymar. Okay, let's go down. Do I want to go this way, or do I want to go... No, go this way. Down, 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 doobie down. And I'm not... Is that a body? No, that's just a crate. I could have sworn I saw light moving down there, though. And that always gets my attention, because light moving down there indicates target down there. Of course, it may also just indicate that my light is refracting off of something. And there are still 6 targets. Try not to think about all the tons of rock that are above you right now that could cave in at any moment and kill you just by blocking your way out and trapping you in the caverns forever. Ooh, look who that is. A dead man. 6 shots to go, 5 targets. Now, admittedly, I still have my C54, so technically speaking, I've got lots and lots of ammo. It's just I kind of prefer to be able to take the targets out before they start shooting at me. Okay, this is a dangerous area. Let me get a little closer to show why. Oh wait, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a different cave system. It's worth mentioning that not all caves are alike. I mean, they all share similar characteristics. Oh, nope, this is definitely it. You see here, we've got a chasm, a rock pillar, more chasm. Oh, is that a body over there? Well, there's somebody over there, because I can see the flashing of the lights. But unfortunately, they are not in a position where I can snipe them yet. In any event, I need to get across there. And if you mistime the jump at all, you're going to find yourself going down into that chasm. In other words, it's freaking Mario Brothers. I hate Mario Brothers. Nope, I've already done it. I've screwed up. I'm dead. Well, I'm not dead, but I've just made my life a lot harder than it needed to be. Okay, let's see. The goal is to get back up top. Now, there are ledges down here that you can hop up and get to the top. The problem is, I'm not entirely sure which side of the cavern I'm going to wind up on. Okay, let's put the gun away for now. The gun's just going to cause me trouble. It's very similar to what you would see if you're, running the... Is that a body over there? Okay, that's a bad example. That's a dead body. And that's good, because the dead body tells me that this is the direction I want to go. Laser sight back on. Let's adjust myself slightly. And jump. must be careful. There's another target. Unfortunately, this scope doesn't auto zero, so I really don't know how far away this guy is. I'm pretty sure it's not over 200 meters, however. And the problem is that apparently he's still alive because he's not... Oh, for heaven's sake, I just hit him with 2 rounds from a P6LR. Why is this guy still breathing? And now I'm down to 2 shots. One shot left, 4 targets. Well, never did believe in doing it the easy way, did I? And that didn't kill him. Okay. Looks like it's time for all-out kill. I'm trying to be frugal with my shots here. I've got 153 shots to play with, but I kind of prefer a little certainty with making sure my ammo is still where it needs to be. Let's see if I can get the high ground here and see anything. Yep. One target left. He can be anywhere. But he's going to be over there. Got him! All hostiles are downed. Sounds great, doesn't it? Of course, there's just one teeny tiny remaining problem. I have to get out. Well, nobody said it was going to be easy, did they? So we're going to basically follow the trip we got into here with. Come on, come on, did I do it? Oh yes, I timed it perfect. No more drop into the deep, endless chasm. That's the first big trick. The second big trick is navigating myself to the upper level from here. Because I'm not 100% sure of the directions. And adding insult to injury, if I go the wrong way, I could end up being stuck on a piece of debris that won't let me through, even though logically speaking, I should be able to get past it. Logic. That's a funny word, isn't it? But so far, so good. I believe I've gotten past the rough part, so it's basically a question of following the cavern as it continues to rise up. Now, as I mentioned earlier, some of the folks I play with, they don't like these cave missions. They don't like having to go all the way down. They don't like having to come all the way back up, and they're going to hate it even worse once the respawn of the Cutlass Red stops working with 3.15. Could always take a Carrick, but... because that would be the simple way of getting out of here. Just slice your own throat, respawn back in your ship, and everything's happy, happy, joy, joy. But I don't mind this. Honestly, I like these cave missions a lot better than the other kind of cave missions that exist, which involves trying to find dead people so they can be reported to whoever asked to find them. Because honestly, finding a single dead body in these caves, rough. Very rough. But here we are, standing outside. Successful cave mission under the belt. Let's turn off the headlamp there. Looking through the cockpit where the headlamp is tricky. And I was able to do it with one set of ammo, meaning whatever clips I had on my uniform. I'll also be honest here. If I run out of C54 ammo, not all was lost, because I also carry this Coda pistol, 6-shooter. Hits like a hammer, or so I'm told. Basically, we'd be looking to John Wick our way through it. That said, I'm not very good at John Wicking my way through things. So now that we've completed that mission, let's see what else is out there. Doesn't look like we have any more cave missions. Doesn't look like we have Karya available at the moment. Oh, did something just pop up? Did something pop up? Nothing popped up. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a brief pit stop over at Grim Hex and see if I can unload some of the drugs I still have in my Mercury. Still. And then we'll start shooting things that fly. Since there seems to be so many more of those targets available. That said, we will not be flying in the 300 because, well, as combat ships go, I don't know that the baseline 300i is the way to go. I feel like that would be what is commonly referred to as a poor idea. Okay, that should point me towards Grim Hex. I'll be coming up on the right-hand side. My right-hand side, that is. And look, there's somebody over there. Is it somebody I should be worried about? It's the Andromeda. I am not noticing anything that says the word crime stat on it. And the reason why that matters is because if they have a crime stat on it, they might be more inclined to start shooting at me. Now there's a second ship over there. While we're getting a closer look, let's get my comms up here so that I'll be able to get a hangar bay. Those guys might be in the hangar as well, so... Excellent. Kill the cruise control. Drop down the landing gear. Start swinging over this way. And hope I don't hit a rock in the way. And I am flying upside down. Okay, to be fair, upside down is a relative term. But relative to the landing site, I'm flying upside down. So let's come in for the landing. And set down. Why, thank you. I will have a pleasant stay. At least in the short term. In the long term, I would hate to live here. I know some folks in my work who would say, hey, we'd like to have Grim Hex as our permanent landing zone. I do not share that opinion. If I were to go with a permanent landing zone, it would be one that is not currently in the game. Levski on the planetoid of Delamar. Once upon a time, Levski was in the Stanton system, but it was never intended to be in the Stanton system. It was supposed to be in the Nix system. But they were doing something or other, some kind of testing, I don't know. So it was there for a while. No more. No more. It'll return whenever Nix returns. But right now, Levski is just a memory. I weep for the passing of Levski, the friendliest place in the system. Not necessarily the cleanest or the best upkept, but if you enjoyed the television show Firefly, you would have liked Levski a lot, because it had that kind of attitude and feel. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. It's gone back to Nix, which no longer, well, I shouldn't say no longer exists. It doesn't currently exist. And I don't expect to see Nix until, at minimum, 2024. Which is depressing. But it is what it is, you know? Ooh, 18 units of Widow. Boy, I'm going to make a huge profit on that run. Still have over 250 units of Widow to go. That may sound like a lot, but I started out with something like a 1200 or something like that. So I'm actually doing quite well in getting rid of it all. And of course, by the time I get anywhere near to getting rid of it all, 3.15 will land and everything will be wiped and it'll be all irrelevant anyway. Nobody promised easy. Nobody ever promised easy. And I feel that I can't fly my Mercury anymore until I sell it all off. Because if I fly it anywhere else, I'm risking the 30K wiping out the money. Now, granted, it's only 30,000. I made that in that cave mission back there. And I'll do a lot better by doing these bounty hunting missions right now, where I can rack up for a group warrant. Preferably one that's not, there we go. 61K. I can get 61K killing these 3 guys, which is well within my capabilities. Not to brag, the AI is not that tough an opponent. At least not once you've gotten the hang of flying the game. And we're going to fly the Saber because the Saber has always done pretty well for me. I know that a lot of people say it got nerfed and all that, but to be honest, the guys who say that are primarily PvPers. I can do VHRTs in the Saber. As far as I'm concerned, that is more than sufficient for what I need. Of course, that said, I've also died in the Saber a number of times because, you know, asteroids happen. But some of the advantages that we have here is that first, the guns are pretty close in. If you lose wings, you still have the guns working. As you will see momentarily, they are Panther repeaters. Energy weapons. Right now, ballistics, bad place. They don't do anywhere near the damage it takes to counterbalance the fact that you wipe them all out in about 5 seconds of combat. I can't overclock my weapons anymore. I gotta remember that. Now let's take a look at where my targets are. It will not be a big shock to hear that all of them are relatively close by Yella. Why not? Yella is pretty much the home of scum and villainy in the Stanton system, thanks to the presence of Grim Hex. Ooh, right. One more thing I gotta do. Duh. I want to make sure all my weapons are keyed to the same mouse button. For some weapons, that's not such a big deal. You might actually prefer them not to be in the same mouse button. Yes, yes, I don't actually care about your opinion, guys. But since they're all the same weapons on the Saber at the moment, I kind of like them bound in the same spot. Also, we're going to do a little bit of power adjustment. We're going to go a little bit more weapon, a little bit more shield. Engines are not a major priority for me. I don't plan to do a whole bunch of boosting. Of course, the great thing is, if I choose to change my mind, I'll change my power settings. And when I'm talking about changing my power, shields and all that, I'm talking about this MFD here. You've got the power triangle. On the left is weapons, on the right is shields, on the bottom are engines. Weapons impact how quickly your weapons recharge and maybe how hard they hit. That's kind of an open question on that one. Shields influence shield hardness, maybe, and how quickly they recharge after being hit. Vanguard Warden, I can take this guy. And engines, they are involved with the afterburners that, I've got going right now. And how quickly that recharges. All pretty simple explanations. Now, I'm not going to hit the afterburners, but I am going to increase my speed a bit to get a little closer, a little quicker. Oh, right. Also, I'm going to increase the number of decoys I use at a time from 1 to 3. I could probably do 2 safely, but uh-oh, he's got ads. I am not alone. So I've got 3 ships who are going to be throwing weapons fire at me at almost any time. I'll fire 1 missile. I don't really want to... I'm not going to shoot all that much more because missiles are iffy at this range. Well, that actually hit him. I'm surprised. Unfortunately, it also looks like that... Yeah, he's going to return the favor, isn't he? Alright, it's showtime. Now you'll see that as I've fired, I have a certain amount of shots I can make with these things, 24 shots at a time. And I'm using a repeater, so they shoot pretty fast. But they recharge pretty quickly too, thanks to my distribution of power. Ooh, I didn't think that would be enough to kill him. Awesome. Next target, another Vanguard Warden. Language. Oops. Yeah, I appreciate the gift, but I don't want it. Come on, come on. Ah, nuts. I was hoping it'd be enough to kill him, but... And looks like... Oh, nuts. Is that a hurricane? I think that's a hurricane. That is a hurricane. I'm amazed I haven't been hurt worse than I already am right now. Hurricanes are bad news. They've got enough health to really make this a fight. And they have a lot of guns that pack a punch. Oh yeah, plus the missiles. Let us not forget the missiles. Their shields recharge pretty quickly. Really, the Hurricanes are a big sack of I don't want them. Which is one of the reasons why players like flying them these days. Especially if you have a partner who can operate the turret on board. If you have a partner who can use the turret, you're looking at a really deadly flying machine. Luckily, the AI is not the best turret gunner. One day that will probably change and then horrible things will happen. Guy is not doing me the favor of dropping dead yet, is he? Shit. Maybe I should have hit this guy with a missile when I had the chance. And again, to be fair, I'm not sure I actually had a chance to hit him with a missile. Target destroyed. 2 more targets on my list. Once again, we're all at yellow here, so I want to go to this target, which will require me to go via the orbital marker. Bad boys, what you gonna do? Oh, nope, I shouldn't do that. Don't want to get a DMCA strike. Travel complete. 34 kilometers away and closing. And that's an approximate location because odds are the guy hasn't actually even spawned in yet. The key word here being, of course, yet. So here we go. 24 kilometers. 23 kilometers. In a way that's kind of reassuring because if it's that far away and I haven't gotten a target yet, that means it's probably not a Valkyrie, probably not a Vanguard. Ha! That'll teach me to be optimistic. Yeah, it's a Valkyrie. Valkyries are drop ships, according to the book, shall we say. However, they're pretty well armed drop ships. Multiple turrets. They're designed to deal with suppressing ground attack when they're dropping off their troops. But that doesn't mean that they're not perfectly good enough to fight in space. Oh, great. And there's more hostiles. This is one of those fights that might be a little challenging. And by a little challenging, I mean I might have to do a lot of dodging. I'm hoping to get close enough that I don't have to worry about missile attacks. Ah, nuts. Okay, how about that? It didn't. I wasted my wasted my wonderful countermeasures there because the rock protected me. And I gotta be careful here too, because the last thing I want to do is steer myself into the rock. This will come as a surprise, but if your ship hits an asteroid, especially if it's a really big asteroid, you're probably going to die. Damn it! Well, I got some hits on the guy, that's for sure. And he's down. Let's get this target. What's he flying? It's another Valkyrie. It's never simple, is it? Language. There are children present. Okay, maybe not. I'm sure that there's an option somewhere to put on a profanity filter. Just never expected it to be on the bad guys. I just want to mention that, you know, bad guys are allowed to use bad language because they're bad guys. See, parents everywhere, I have just given you an out. flew a little too close to the sun with this guy. And I'm not doing nearly as much damage to him as I was hoping I would be doing. Of course, I could be mistaken. Last target, Hurricane. Of course it's a Hurricane. Oh, no you don't. He must have been dumbfiring those missiles, because there's no way he had a radar lock on me. Which is actually kind of cool now that I think about it. I didn't think these guys would bother firing missiles unless they had a lock. So that the fact that he dumbfired them, that's pretty impressive to me. Oh, don't go nowhere. We're not done with you yet. Now, I prefer not to dumbfire my missiles, especially if I'm trying to dumbfire them at, say, a small, relatively maneuverable starship, like this one. To be fair, the Hurricane ain't that small, but it's small enough for my purposes. When I think larger ships, I'm thinking like Andromeda size or bigger. And even then, I'm kind of leery. What I really like to think of is, say, Reclaimers and 890 jumps. You know, things that can't maneuver very quickly. 2 down, 1 to go. Let's get him nailed down here. Spool it up and get ready to erase him. What will Target 3 be flying? We've dealt with Harbingers, Valkyries, Hurricanes. It's likely to be one of those 3. Trying to make sure that I don't smack into an asteroid, because that would be inconvenient. .22 kilometers. Target acquired, which means he's probably, yep, Valkyrie. Well, guess what? I'm not going to wait for this guy. We're going to abuse him very quickly right away. As for using the missiles, hey, why not? No use holding on to them. But I think I'll wait till we get to around maybe 4,000, maybe 3,500 meters. Don't give him too much time to react. Oops. Speaking of not too much time to react. I'm not sure my missiles did anything to him. Well, you know, you try things out. You see if you can get where you need to be. Not doing as much damage as I'd hoped, but then again, I might just be misjudging entirely. Oops, I'm taking hits. But the good news is, so is he. Oops, more missiles coming. Maybe they're dumbfiring, maybe not, but I really can't take that chance. F7 Hornet. Well, that's a more unusual target. Hornets are medium fighters. They're they're reasonably good. Especially if they're Super Hornets or properly geared up Hornets, which can have a whole bunch of guns that'll do a lot of damage. apparently his shielding is pretty good. So good, in fact, that I'm going to hit the other target, which is a Gladius. We're going to go after him next. He's likely to break a lot easier than the Hornet will. Gladius is arguably one of the best light fighters in the game. It's usually listed in the top 3. And I can't quite get a beat on this guy. Meanwhile, they're getting plenty of beads on me. Did I just have desync hit me hard? I think I did. You know, I'm showing a lot of hits on my ship, and it doesn't look like they're hitting me at all. Ladies and gentlemen, desync. But there is a bright side to all of this. I still got my targets, and by getting my targets, I got paid. That matters. It matters because that way I don't lose any reputation. I still get credit, I still get paid. I mean, those guys were just ads, so it would have been nice to get the extra pay, but now why did I just get awarded 1,000 credits? Did I desync collide with these guys? Could be. Could be. Anytime it's time, I'm respawned in Grim Hex. With all the, well, let's hope that's water on the ground. Let's put it that way. Let's hope that's water on the ground. Stop over in admin and see if I can sell off any more of the Widow. I'm not optimistic, but you never succeed if you don't try. 36 units, oh, pretty good. At this rate, I might be able to get below 200 today. It's sad how my ambitions have shrunk dramatically. And of course, the bad news is that the Saber is now currently space dust floating in the rings of Yella, so guess that means I'll have to use a different ship. Possibly doing different goals. So before we choose what ship to fly, let's see what contracts are available. I swear that I'd seen... Oh, maybe somebody picked it up. I thought there was another cave mission rolling around out there. But I think that, ooh, but Karia's infiltrated again. Karia is always infiltrated. And just for curiosity's sake, let's grab this mission to make sure that the fellow isn't at Karia. Well, he might be. It's hard to say. When I get targets that look like they're on the opposite sides, it's perfectly possible that there's slight wiggles happening. Let's claim the Saber, so at the very least somewhere along the line I'll be able to use it, presuming of course that 3.15 doesn't come in to wipe everything beforehand. Spoiler alert, that really shouldn't be an issue for the Saber. Hmm. to. We're going to be taking the Titan Avenger. Sorry, the Avenger Titan. I never claimed to be good at getting names right. Honestly, if it weren't for the fact that I saw the name on the stream here, I'd have trouble with my own. Avenger Titan has two methods of access, one of which is the rear cargo ramp. You can also get out through the cockpit door. And usually you have to if you have cargo on board. But since the cargo boxes are currently without collision, who cares? Not expecting to fight anybody at this point. At least nobody in space. Okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to target. Of course, it would help if I went to the right moon. I is not smart. I feel like the landing pads have gotten stickier, so to speak, lately. That's an observation. No big deal. Here's the Titan Avenger in profile, shall we say. Yes, you can access quantum... Ooh, look. Someone's flying a Carrack around here. Don't worry, big guy. I have no quarrel with you. I'm just passing through. Now, while we're heading to this general direction, now we're going to try tracking the bounty and see if he's directly ahead of me as well. He is not. That's good. Now, you might think, why not go to Caria? It's easy. It has some turrets, but they can be avoided. No guards inside, usually. Really, there's a lot of things to recommend Caria. But here's the one thing that makes it more challenging. Everybody knows that. Which means a bounty hunter is likely to stake out SPK, as we like to call it, waiting for targets to show up for easy kills. At least for a given value of easy. Oh! Oh wait, that's a turret. Never mind. For a minute there, I thought I was seeing identifiers of actual people here. Oh! Speaking of actual people. No, that's not an actual person, though. That's an AI pilot. Oh, I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. Oh, he's flying a Vanguard Warden. You know, suddenly I'm feeling kind of stupid right now. I may have chosen poorly. Yeah, remember when I said I didn't intend to get into combat with this ship? I might have screwed up the strategy just a little bit. Okay, well that went well. And I got paid. That should always be on your mind when you're doing this kind of thing. Always, 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 always take the call to arms mission. So even if you run into an encounter like this one, you will still get paid. Let's turn on those. Oops, that's not a landing pad. Oh great, more hostiles are flying in. I may have made a horrible, horrible mistake here. Ah, there we go. Landing pads. Oh, let's not hit the ring. Hitting the ring would be inconvenient. We will, of course, be leaving my ship turned on. Because I want those shields to stay active. And this was not the way I wanted to get out, actually, because this is going to be a lot slower. I may do this mission and wind up finding out that I have no more spaceship. Okay, while we're relatively safe... Oh, thank God, I thought that was my ship. While we're relatively safe, we're going to ammo up, so to speak. C54, P6LR. Then we'll pull both weapons out and make sure we have full loads. Fix things if they aren't. Okay, that's the one. That's the two. Go back in. Let's get the C54 back in. P6LR back in. And now that I'm thinking of it, one more thing. Okay, all my med pens are actually equipped. Good, we're good. Sniper rounds are up. 7 hostiles in Caria. One of which may be right behind this door. Seriously? Fine. Screw subtle. That's right. Look around and then fall down. Okay, the subtle assassin mode has just gone out the window. Now it's just going to have to be all about carnage. So far, no additional surprises. It's odd to think that I'm using my C54 as a precision weapon here, but I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I heard weapons fire. course, that could be to my starship outside exploding too. So, you know, I'm trying not to think about that detail. That's right, boys. I'm using a submachine gun as a precision weapon. What the hell is wrong with me? Okay, I think it's time to start checking upper levels. Step 1, find an upper level. Check in here first, actually. Okay, maybe not check here first. It looks like I've already killed people in this area. Oh, hi there. And he hasn't seen me yet. Well, far be it from me to ignore opportunity. Yeah, I know I said screw subtlety, but you know, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, right? You know, I'm feeling pretty stupid at the moment because I feel like I should know where the freaking stairs are. Okay, there we are. Next step, get up the stairs without being murdered. That actually went better than I thought it would. Two more hostiles. And they can be anywhere. But apparently anywhere does not include the second floor. Either that or they're doing a very good job on hiding themselves. So that means time for third floor. Of course, it's also possible that these guys have been hearing the screams of their comrades all over the place and have decided, nope, I want no part of this. Which would make them pretty smart cookies when you think about it. But here's the thing. I don't see them. I don't see them. It is an interesting conundrum. Are they by the airlock doors? Are they crouching behind something so much that not only do I not see them, they don't see me? Or is it just bad luck? The only thing I know for sure is there are 2 targets unaccounted for on this station, and I will not be leaving this station until those 2 targets are nothing more than a greasy stain. Hi there, subtle assassin here. I realize that was not subtle. Man, I really hurt this guy, didn't I? I killed him so hard that the geometry isn't killing him. Now, fun fact, in 3.15, you'll be able to loot this guy's armor. I don't recommend it. You really don't want to be confused for a bad guy when you're doing these kind of missions. Last thing you need is a friendly to kill you off by accident because he thought you were the bad guy. It's embarrassing. Well, what was that? Or is it just I kicked this guy's gun? Ah, this is where I came in. One more target. And the one target is more than capable of killing me off, just as much as I am capable of killing him off. All I know is that he's on board the station somewhere. And with my luck, he'll be facing me before I am aware that he's facing me, and he will pull the trigger before I do. In fact, let's make sure that I don't have any embarrassing situations about my guns jamming up on me or running out of ammo at an inconvenient moment. Oh, I think that's the guy I killed on a railing. You know, I almost feel sorry for him. I mean, just look at him. If you want to talk about people having bad days... Whoa! Found him! Ah, hello, Pablo Stick. How are you doing? I hope things are going well on your end of the monitor. I am currently, well, I just finished up a little escapade on the security outpost Caria, where some pirates had the bad taste to, well, die in inconvenient places. I mean, just look at this guy. He still hasn't fallen down dead. He's just stuck in the railing, and I almost feel bad. Except I really don't. What a way to go. Ah, do I have any other viewers besides you? Well, you know, I'm guessing probably not. I did it last time I did a quick check on the viewers. I think most of them might be bots. It's been a very quiet stream today. There are likely better streamers out there right now doing their thing. Plus, they're on the public test universe, which has all the 3.15 goodness that they didn't implement this weekend. Was really hoping they would, but nope. And it's going to make life really entertaining because when 3.15 lands, they've got less than 2 weeks before the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, which is going to require its own patch. Ah, respect that I talk even though I have no viewers. Well, you know, I like to think that people might show up at any time, as is the case here. And, you know, eventually someone may stumble on my page on the video on demand side of things. Either here on Twitch, or I tend to migrate stuff over to YouTube afterwards because Twitch only holds on to my streams for 2 weeks. One of the hazards of not being an affiliate or something like that. My ship is still intact. Had some pirates firing on me. Yeah, it's a great first impression. Well, I'm glad to have made that kind of good impression right off the bat here. Are you someone who's played Star Citizen a lot, or just watching it? And thank you for the follow as well. Greatly appreciate that. I tend to stream twice a week, usually. One night I do Star Trek Online, and then on Saturday afternoons I do Star Citizen. And I think Star Citizen is the one that's more interesting to me personally. Just started like 1 day ago. Well, welcome to Star Citizen. You certainly picked an exciting time to be joining. We are probably just a few days out from a major patch that's going to change an awful lot. For example, right now you've got this inventory system where you have everything basically in hammer space. I could grab one of my med pens, or I've got like 18 of them available at any time. Or I can go with one of any number types of helmets and armor. 3.15, right. 3.15 is going to be rolling through. It's going to physicalize inventory. So this entire equipment manager is going to go poof, gone. What's going to replace it will be an inventory system that is geared towards your current location. Whether you're on a planet, on a station, on a ship. And if you have armor with pockets or a backpack. One question? Go ahead. I will answer if I can. It's going to be a very unusual experience. It's one of the reasons why I'm trying to do the weapon thing with just what I have on the armor at a time. Because once 3.15 lands, that's all I can count on. Speaking of things, I really went through this clips, didn't I? So ask away. With any luck, I'll even have a good answer. It could happen. Okay. Guns reset. Let's hope I'll hop over to the equipment manager. Not the equipment manager, the contract manager. If I'm getting that right, you drop all your stuff when you're dead, but that could be very bad if a bug kills you. Well, the short answer is, yeah. It depends on the bug, actually. If a bug kills you, as in you explode or you fall over dead or something like that, then yeah, you're going. If you fall through the floor, yeah, exactly. You drop all your stuff, and that is one of the reasons why I'm going to recommend that you walk very carefully if you're going to use any personal equipment that involves, say, subscriber items or unique items given by giveaways or what have you. Oh, hold on a minute. I seem to have a hostile here that I don't want to get killed by, so I'm going to hop over to an orbital marker before he starts shooting me. Now, most people are going to mitigate this by making sure that they buy a lot of equipment, like, say, extra guns, extra armor, extra what have you. But if you have a subscriber item or a pledge item that you can use on the ground, like, for example, I've got, among other things, armor, helmet, the Zio Corso helmets. Ivory, Sapphire, or is it Azure? It's Azure. Or Obsidian. These were pledged items. If I die wearing this helmet and by falling through the floor, it's gone. It's history. It's adios. And at the moment, the only way you'll see it again is if you perform a character reset. Sorry for the slow typing on the phone. Yeah, I know exactly how that feels. I have trouble doing the phone typing on an alarmingly regular basis. And yeah, these are pretty nice items, and these are just some of the items that I've picked up over the last couple years. We just recently wrapped up a Halloween event where we have the Hill Horror helmet, which is, scary. And the reason I have two of them is because I got the same thing last year, so when I did it this year, I got an extra helmet. But if worst comes to worst, you can do a character reset. It's a pain in the butt to do a character reset, but I imagine there's going to be a lot of people doing that as they start losing items. But that's only a problem for the unique items like the Hill Horror or the Giacoso helmet. I don't know why I keep throwing an R in there when I say that. But if I grab, say, something like a CBH helmet or the Death Head helmet or anything like that, Orc helmet, a bunch of these other helmets, these are purchasable in-game. So what I plan to do is basically use all the in-game weapons and armor and stuff and not worry about my only one available bits of armor. At least until they come up with a better long-term solution. There's been some things batted back and forth, but I don't think that CIG has actually come up with a specific answer as to how they want to deal with that yet. But since we're still in 3.14, I can wear the Giacoso armor, well, the helmet, as is. Now, if you have stuff on a ship that gets blown up, well, not blown up, but lost due to a server crash, you may have heard the term 30K thrown around. That usually involves an error where it crashes your game and you see the error code 30,000 something or other. That usually indicates a server crash, and that's had some problems. See, yeah, but I have to say that from the first time you played it, this was like 1 year ago on a free weekend, and it was 100 times more buggy than now. Yeah, you are absolutely right. There are times I've often said that Star Citizen has more bugs than a Starship Troopers movie, but it has gotten better. You know, I don't see too many of the things that drove me nuts a year ago today. Server crashes are still a thing, but with 3.15, they're putting in something that should be kind of helpful, a 30K protection sort of deal, where before, if a server crash happened and you happen to have cargo on your ship, it was all gone. And all the money you spent on that cargo is gone. So we had people who were risking millions of credits with their cargo on a big ship. A 30K server crash comes and bam, they're out all that money. With 3.15, they're managing to make it persist so that you can reclaim the ship at wherever you wind up and have the cargo still there. And I'm thinking that'll be the same case with the inventory that you have on the ship as well. You never actually had a server crash. Don't taunt fate like that. Fate will listen. That said, 3.15 theoretically is a lot more stable right now than it's been, so 3.15 does sound kind of awesome. And this is just one piece of it. The whole inventory thing, that's just one piece of it. The other piece of it is the fact that it's going to include medical gameplay. And what that means is you are no longer simply a sack of health. Now, you will be able to have actual injuries. Leg injury, you have trouble walking. Arm injury, it'll be tricky to aim. Head injury, you have blurred vision. And there'll be medical pens and medical tools that you can use to heal yourself, and you'll have hospitals where you can recover those injuries. It's going to be really something else. Saw that? It's awesome sounding. I agree completely. It's going to be very different. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all shakes out. Now, hopefully, we might see the patch land on Monday. I've heard a couple people say maybe it could land today, but it would be really, really unusual to see a patch land on Saturday. That said, we are less than 2 weeks out from the expo, and it's getting close. I feel like they've got to either commit to putting a patch out really soon, or just fold the predicted 3.15.1 into 3.15. Yeah, I do realize that my screen is a little frozen right now. That's a hazard with trying to go into Crusader. Here we go. It's occasionally a pain in the tuchus. But I happen to like Orison, so I like to fly there occasionally. PC specs I have? Well, you know, my PC specs were state-of-the-art a few years ago. So, you know, it's practically obsolete now. Let's see, I want to say I've got a 2080 graphic card, NVIDIA, GeForce. Can't remember the processor off the top of my head because, you know, my short-term memory is like a sieve. Turn off the quantum drive. I'd like to be able to try to figure out where the spaceport is. I always have trouble trying to figure out where the spaceport is from above. I feel like I should have no trouble with this, but I always do. Oh well, I'll just keep flying forward until I get close enough for ATC to get involved. Yeah. Basically, it's a Dell Alienware system. I just kind of picked it up because I felt like I wanted to have a system that was relatively high-end compared to what I usually had. Do I know if our Citizen is CPU or GPU heavy? Well, the answer is yes. Honestly, I'm not really sure exactly how it fits in. There is something, and let me see if I can bring that up here. Let me, well, first let me slow down so I don't do something horrible like accidentally smash into something. And I'm going to bring up my browser here and go to, oh, let's see, do I even have it still here? Yes, I do. So we're going to hop over here for a second. This is the RSI. Is it more CPU more than GPU heavy? I'm going to say, well, honestly, I still really don't know. I'm not very good at determining that sort of thing. I do know that my fan goes off an awful lot depending on where I'm at. And I have a feeling that's probably GPU related. I'm kind of somewhere in the kind of a sweet spot between recommended and minimum. I seem to have a pretty decent GPU score, but my CPU score could be better. So this is the telemetry page. If you go under the robertspaceindustries.com and at the end do a /telemetry, it will take, if you have your system that you play on, if you're logged in, it'll tell you the basic stats that you've got to work with here, and your basic score, and it'll compare it with, well, minimum, maximum configuration. If you click in them, you can see specific details about it. And I'm presuming that since this is a heat map, the ones that have darker colors are probably what most people are using. I'm guessing on this. I'm not 100% sure because I rarely use this. But again, this is on the Robert Space Industries site. You just have to have the website name /telemetry, and you can see this for yourself with presumably your specs on it. Okay, let's see. Good, I haven't crashed into anything. That's always a blessing. Oh my god, I think I actually am pointing in the right direction. How did that happen? Can I paste the link? Yes, actually, I think I can. Give me a moment here. And I swear to God, if I get a message from my bots telling me that I'm not allowed to paste in my own stream, I will go berserk. There we go. I can never trust my bot sometimes. This Streamlabs bot is occasionally dubious. I guess that's the kind way of putting it. You're welcome. You may or may not have had a chance to actually see Orison at this stage, but this is basically Cloud City as Star Citizen would render it. Volumetric clouds, and I understand they're going to be kicking up soon. Be right back, starting my PC. Hey, no problem. No problem at all. With any luck, by the time you're back, I will have landed. Of course, if I'm not lucky, it'll turn out that I am completely going the wrong way. No, I'm getting hailed, so that's good. Let's get a landing spot, preferably before I crash.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
Well, I don't mind if I do. Oh, and I'm even pointed to the right building. It helps I'm flying a small ship for this. August Dunlow Spaceport. I'm going to kill the cruise control a bit so that I can get a little bit more control over my landing. I think I want to go on the right side of the structure here. Why do I have my missile warning on? Okay, it's perfectly possible that I've gone the wrong way. And welcome back. I've just discovered that I've gone to the wrong side of the spaceport to land. Oops. Well, that's easy enough to fix. And here we are. Landing gear's already down. Take a slow approach so I don't splatter against the back end of the spaceport. And I may splatter anyway because I do not have everything. Ooh, close. And down. And we're going to go out the cockpit so I don't have to worry about going through the cargo ramp. Now, I honestly thought that this year, when they did the expo, that it would happen at Orison. So I was extremely surprised when they said, nope, we're going to do it at Microtech again. All that said, hopefully they'll have gotten past some of those bugs that have made the last year's expo a little bit more interesting. Score is not bad. Well, that's always good to read because, if you have a computer that can handle this, I think it's a great experience. You got to be able to handle the fact that bugs happen with alarming regularity. But it really is a fun game to do. There's a lot to do. I mean, mining, cargo hauling, bounty hunting, drug running, working for pirates, ground combat, space combat. Oh, what are some of the bugs I get often? Well, let me see. One of the most irritating ones I get happens when I do bounty hunting missions or space combat missions. What they usually do is they take place among a group of asteroids floating around. But sometimes those asteroids don't spawn in right away. So there you are, heading in what looks like open space towards your target, full speed ahead, and suddenly you explode. Because you have hit an asteroid that you did not see there because it was not spawned in yet. And it just spawned in all around you. Oops. Another problem that occasionally happens, I've noticed this in 3.15, but it might be this server that I was on 3.15, is that some of the elevator panels, they all vanished. So right now, if you use the elevator, you've got these panels. When I logged into P2 briefly to check the place out recently, the panel was gone. There was nothing to interact with. I was trapped in my hab. I mean, man, I realize that they need customers and all that, but Klesher couldn't have done a better job at holding me. Okay, let's see. Starships. Let's grab something that's a little less, we'll go back to the Saber. The Saber is a solid ship as far as I'm concerned. It's not able to fulfill its prime function at the moment, which is stealth fighter. But it does a reasonably good job at being a fighter. Yeah, this is another bug that... Oh, here we go. Sometimes another bug that happens on a regular basis is you'll try to claim or retrieve a ship, and it'll tell you that it can't because it's not there. And sometimes, to add insult to injury, sometimes it's lying and it really is there. But sometimes it's not. Yeah, now, I will freely admit, some of those ships were by in-game... well, some of them were from pledges, some of them were from in-game purchases. You can, at the moment, pretty much pick up almost every ship in the game that is currently in the game at one of the various ship stores in the game. New deal at Lorville at Tisa Spaceport, and Astro Armada at Area 18 on ArcCore. The only exceptions right now at the moment are... I'm thinking. I can't recall what the exceptions are at the moment. Usually the newest ships that come out usually do not make themselves available in-game for purchase until at least a patch or two down the line. But this kind of illustrates why I like to tell a lot of people that you don't need anything other than the basic package, whether it's a Aurora MR or a Mustang Alpha, because you can get yourself to the point where you can start earning the money to upgrade to medium-sized ships. And any advice? Oh, let's see, I recently busted a cave, and I luckily did it, but I don't know what, where, or how to buy ammo. Okay. Ammo can be bought, okay, depending on where you're at. There's a couple different places you can buy ammo, and a lot depends on what planet you happen to be nearby. If you're on the world of Hurston, you might be able to get ammo, but it might be tricky, because Hurston, until very recently, didn't like having guns and stuff on sale there, probably because they press their workers all the time. The last thing you want to do is give an oppressed workforce ammunition and guns. Just saying. However, plenty of other places have more than enough guns and ammo. Port Olisar will sell ammunition. That's the station that's in orbit around Crusader. Center Mass at either Area 18 at ArcCore or New Babbage on Microtech. They tend to be pretty good places to load up on ammunition. Or even guns, honestly. Also, Area 18 has Cubby Blast, which is at ArcCore Plaza. They have a slightly different selection of guns and armor, but always worth going to. As far as weapons go, I've got basically 3 guns I consider my go-to guns, and this is a personal preference thing. You'll find that as you go along that you may find some guns you like better than others. So don't necessarily be 100% guided by what I do. There's plenty of other guns to play with. They all have their own pluses and minuses, and they're all pretty effective. I like to use the C54 Submachine Gun. I like to think of that as my "oh no" kind of weapon. Not exactly a long-range weapon. Spray and pray weaponry here. You point, you pull the trigger down, you watch the ammo go like crazy. And that's one of the little problems with using submachine guns. You will be going through ammunition like water. So be aware of that little downside. If I'm playing solo, my next weapon is usually the P6LR sniper rifle. It's a ballistic sniper rifle, heavy rounds. Well, once upon a time, if you hit the target, you could be pretty sure you would kill the target. It's gotten a little less effective at that lately, but it's still a pretty solid sniper rifle. Great range, but again, you don't really need great range for most of the missions they've got here. Now, the other gun I like to use in place of the sniper rifle, if I'm working with other players, is I will usually go with the S71 Assault Rifle, which is a very precision kind of weapon. It's a single shot, decent magazine size, got 30 rounds in the clip. Does a pretty good job on taking down the target. But there are really all kinds of weapons here. Grenade launchers, for when you want to basically blow people up. Scourge railguns, for when you want to blow up vehicles. Although, I've never had all that much luck using the railgun. Honestly, I'm not even sure why I bothered keeping it. You got shotguns. You've got energy rifles, and you've got ballistic rifles. Missile launchers, for if someone happens to be harassing you in a spaceship that's, say, a fighter. Okay, in 3.15 you can't have all these weapons on you and change in a fight. That is correct. In 3.15 you will not be able to magically re-equip these things anywhere you are. Everything you buy will be where you bought it. So if I buy all my stuff at Orison, it's all going to be at Orison unless I move them from Orison, either by putting them on my backpack or loading them on my ship, that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. Say I buy this Animus missile launcher at Orison. If I don't have it on me, it will stay at Orison. But if I equip it, then obviously it comes with me. Do you have to buy backpacks? You do not have to buy backpacks. Backpacks will give you storage. But your arm, depending on the armor you're wearing, you may have some storage on your armor too. How much you can put in the armor may be limited. I haven't really experimented with that. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the public test universe. I tend to basically wait until it actually comes on out. The ship does indeed have storage, yes, and that's going to be the big one right there, because what you'll want to do is you'll basically transfer from wherever you bought the stuff into your ship, take your ship to wherever you want your main base to be, and unload the stuff at that location. I don't recommend leaving everything on your ship because, as you pointed out, things explode sometimes. You really don't want to be in a position where you have whole heaps of armor and clothing and all that good stuff, and then somebody come around and say, "Ooh, that ship looks like it's fun to blow up." Bam. That said, there is a limit to ship capacity as well, and I don't know that anybody's made a big research effort as to what ships have how much storage. It has to be very stressful when you take a lot of stuff with you. Yeah, definitely want to make sure that you're flying a ship that has decent shielding, maybe. Okay, I am out of atmosphere. Let's see about wrecking something, shall we? That's a single target. Do we have any group? We have a group one. Okay, excellent. Group bounty. Very high risk targets. Same thing with my please no bug, yes. The chance of anybody carrying large amounts of cargo or equipment. And I think there's going to be a lot of people chanting that once 3 out of 15 lands. I know a couple folks in my org, and while I'm at it, why don't I just put that up. Bang. Oh great, did my bot die again? Oh, there we go. Ugh. Streamlabs, why do you do this to me? The Eternal Riders org is the org I tend to hang around with. They have a Discord, they have the site. If you want to hang around a bunch of interesting people who often wind up in cluster rehabilitation through no fault of their own, or so they would claim, stop by, say hello, give them a look. But a lot of the members of the org are talking about basically making Grim Hex their home away from home. So they're likely to do that. Now personally, I can't bring myself to call my home away from home the hive of scum and villainy in the Stanton Star system. So, I mean, have you seen the hygiene in there? Water all over the ground. Ah, okay, what is an org? Well, if you're familiar with MMOs, there's basically a guild. Guild or player association or in-game company or however you want to put it. It's basically a group of players who basically try to play together. Sometimes it works better than others because, you know, with the announcement of 3.15, a lot of people kind of went into wait and see mode until the wipe was done. Yeah, and in case you missed that part as well, 3.15, in addition to all these wonderful changes, they are also going to wipe out everything on your inventory. So basically all the stuff I've been showing that I have on here, a lot of it is going to go poof, because we are going to be having a database wipe with the physical inventory system. Basically everybody will be starting at ground zero with just the stuff they pledged for. And the money too, that's right. I'm currently carrying around 3 million some, and part of that's because one of my org mates was not playing very much and just threw it on my direction, figuring that I'd spend it. Heh, I fooled him, didn't I? But once 3.15 comes in, you'll be pretty much down to base starting point of, I think, 20,000 maybe? Somewhere around that point. Oh, good. I do have... That's right, because my missiles exploded earlier from my ship. I ought to remember these details. So everybody is going to be hunting down bounties or running small-scale cargo missions, doing box deliveries, all the stuff to get them the initial seed money so they can start moving with the big stuff. Alright, let's see if those missiles will do anything useful. Flying against a warden, so that's probably not the best sign in the world. Oops, and I didn't link my guns. Ugh! Why did I not do that? The ships you bought with real money, you will keep. That's correct. And I didn't set my countermeasures. Well, I am definitely not doing the greatest start in the world, am I? Let's get the decoys up a bit. Yes, I have not started good. The pledged ships will stick around, but depending on the ships you've got pledged, you may not have enough money to keep it armed and fueled unless you know, do the missions, make the money, kill off bounties. Reputation will be resetting too, so, you know, the nice, very high-risk threat bounty I'm dealing with right now, I won't have access to until I get my reputation built up again. That's not as unusual as it sounds. I've gotten used to that. There we go. I didn't think I did enough damage to take him out, but I guess I did. Hurricanes. Hurricanes are annoying targets because they're well-armed, well-armored. Well, okay, maybe not well-armored. They just have health. And I'm losing track of my targets. Fine. We'll go after this guy instead. Oh, yeah, good choice. Valkyrie. Anything carrying a lot of turrets or things I want to take out sooner rather than later. Another piece of advice I like to do is always use energy weapons, not ballistics, against bounty hunting targets, at least AI bounty hunting targets, because you will run out of ballistic ammo in no time. Let's see. Auto weapons have lower damage. Oops. Auto weapons? Oh, that's... Okay, I'm still alive. I'm still intact. Auto weapons. Auto weapons. Are we talking ground weapons or space weapons here? Repeaters, as far as space goes, I can assure you that the repeaters do less damage. I like to think they're counterbalanced by the fact that I'll hit more frequently. Cannons will do more damage, but they have a slower rate of fire. You have the Aurora MR. Well, I can tell you from personal experience that you can do perfectly fine working your way to some pretty good ships, starting with the Aurora MR. About, I think it was at the beginning of the year, I set upon myself the Aurora MR Challenge. And basically the goal was to start using an Aurora and simulate using the Aurora to get to the point where I could buy a medium-sized ship. The Cutlass Black is what was my target, because I tend to stay away from Drake ships because of personal prejudices I carry. Long inside jokes. I'm sure you'll hear more about it if you keep watching my streams. That was painful. But what I would, by general strategy, was first use the Aurora MR to do delivery missions to get a second set of guns on your ship. You have a pair of guns to start, but you have slots for 2 more guns. So I recommend that you have all 4 guns loaded up. Then you can do pretty good with a lot of the very low risk all the way up to medium risk targets. Pretty, well, I say pretty easily, but I'm saying this is someone who's played this game for a couple years, so I've got a little bit of experience in flying these things. But as you get better at flying, you will be able to do exactly that. Why am I having trouble with my directions here? And once you get enough money, I would recommend you start renting, not purchasing, but renting some of the better fighters, like, say, the Anvil Arrow, which is a personal light fighter of mine. Personal fave. And that will allow you to handle at least the high-risk bounties. And eventually you'll be able to rent things like, say, the Constellation Andromeda, which will pretty easily allow you to go after the very high-risk targets. And then once you're doing the very high-risk targets and getting those cleared out relatively quickly, you'll be rolling in the cash quickly enough. You'll be able to start looking at all sorts of other ships to buy in-game without spending another dollar. It can be done. It'll be even easier if you fly with friends, because, you know, chances are you guys can clear out missions a lot faster with people. So the space in the Aurora MR is enough for a delivery. Yes. Yes, it is. However, I feel compelled to mention that a lot of the delivery missions are for 3 boxes, and 3 boxes may be a tight fit. So you might have to do 1 or 2 at a time. But if you stack the boxes on top of each other, you can very likely get 2 in there without a problem. You might be able to fit 3. I haven't really tried. When I did my challenge, things were a little bit different with delivery missions, because they were still doing the 1 box at a time sort of thing. Cargo running may also be viable at this point. You could rent a ship like a Cutlass or a Freelancer and run cargo and make maybe a decent profit. Are these boxes the same size as the bio waste? I think they are, yes. Yeah, those missions tend to be pretty consistent in size. They're slightly less than 1 standard cargo unit, I think. Now, admittedly, the cargo units really don't mean a thing for the Aurora because you can't actually place anything physically on that cargo grid. Certainly not for delivery missions. But it should fit in the Aurora behind your pilot seat and the bed. If you can fit 4 bio-wastes in the Aurora, you should be able to handle the 3-box delivery missions with very little effort. Because they're roughly the same size. Shouldn't be any problems at all there. Well, the good news is I see my neutralized target, and I don't have a... Okay, there he is. So he's probably a Vanguard. Oh, it's a Hurricane. Annoying Hurricanes. I only have 1 Thunderbolt missile to work with. Well, you know, I'll take any bit of damage I can do to this guy. And and I don't really, if I'm looking to make money, I usually don't do the Aurora missions very long. Is there a reason I use the locked weapon mode? Yes, there is. Actually, there's 2 reasons. One, right now the gimbaled mode is maybe not as spot on as it used to be. That's something that they're continually tinkering with. And it just got to the point where I didn't want to deal with that anymore. But the other reason I like to use the locked mode is because, well, some ships don't have spots for gimbals, which is a problem. This is not one of them. Well, actually, this might be. This particular ship basically has the guns as default lock. This ship doesn't have gimbals on it. So, by definition, I have to use the lock mode. But I've done this enough times at this point that doing the lock mode is actually a little easier for me. Especially with the gimbals being what they are. Now, this will probably not surprise you to hear, but this is a situational detail. If I'm flying a Constellation Andromeda, for example, I find that maybe the gimbals are the way to go on that because fast and maneuverable ships make it very hard for a large ship to stay on target. If I'm flying a small ship like the Saber, staying on target is not as difficult as you might expect. I mean, it's tricky. I mean, that's the whole point behind maneuvering. But it's a lot easier. Okay, when I say I wasn't doing the Aurora missions for long, I was more along the lines of saying I don't do the delivery missions for very long because they're not exactly what you would call high credit per hour. What they have as far as the advantage goes, though, is that nobody is shooting you. And there's a lot to say about not being shot at. But after a couple of the box delivery missions, you've gotten like about 16,000 credits to play with, which is more than enough to buy an extra set of guns on your Aurora and start doing bounty hunting missions, which are, pound for pound, the best credits per hour that you can get. Presuming, of course, that you're not pushing around like I am here today. Now, another bounty hunting is, I think, one of the 2 most profitable things you can do right now. And I'm talking about AI bounty hunting, not necessarily player bounty hunting, because for the amount of trouble that a player can give you, you don't get paid anywhere near enough. But going against the AI, when I finish this set of 3 targets, I'll be making 60,000 credits plus a couple bonuses. That's a good thing. Now, the other thing that's highly profitable but not as consistent would be mining. And specifically, you'd have to be mining Quantanium, which is an ore that you find in some asteroids or large rocks. And the reason why that Quantanium is so valuable is because it's volatile. Once you put it in your ship, it starts going unstable. And if you don't get it to a refinery quickly, it explodes. And of course, if it explodes, it's usually going to take the ship with you. So, high risk, high reward. But of course, you also have to be able to find said Quantanium rocks. Now, if you can get a good quantanium rock and get everything in quickly, you could make a couple million in a single run. But that's not as easy as it sounds. So it's not exactly consistent. Maintenance, another mission type. Okay, well let me just hop over to the contract manager and we'll just go into brief explanations on some of these things. Maintenance is usually going to be pretty low-key. I mean, this is basically your standard delivery mission, except you don't even have to take it anywhere. You can just pick it up and throw it out. There are sometimes you'll see a maintenance mission come up that'll ask you to do a repair on a comm array. Because you'll have noticed in the upper right-hand corner, I've got this little satellite symbol up here. And that's basically telling you that you're in a ComSat monitored area. And that means if you do anything bad, the local authorities will know about it and put on your criminal status rating. And the more criminal status rating you get, the more likely you are to be hunted down by players who are looking for money and giggles and get you into jail. A way to avoid that is to go onto the communication satellite, which you can do through your map, and you'll see that we've got satellites around moons, and we have the satellites around planets. If you do criminal activities outside of the range of a satellite, you don't get any criminal status. So therefore, if you're planning on doing some bad things, you might find it more convenient to just go aboard the communication satellite, hack it, turn off the satellite, and then go on your merry criminal way. But if you turn off the satellite, a mission will be generated that will, and it usually, I think it comes under the maintenance, which will ask people to, hey, can you go to the satellite and turn it back on? Okay, investigation. It varies occasionally. Usually it involves going to a location and basically check for dead bodies most of the time. This one here, it talks about a starfarer. It might be one that's crashed on a moon or a planet, or it might still be in orbit. And you'll have to basically go around and look for dead bodies and interact with them so you can say, hey, I found it. And if you find them all, you get paid. Sometimes the investigation might have, well, actually no, I think that would be under search. Search has some stuff here, and they've gotten a lot more interesting recently. Because we have these Zeta Prolinide salvage claims. These are basically like delivery missions, except Zeta Prolinide has a little bit of a twist to it. It's got a timer associated with it. So once you get the thing taken out of its container, it starts counting down. Guess what happens when it gets to 0? Boom. Which is why doing this mission pays 11,000. Yes, boom indeed. Exactly. Now that kind of goes nicely with the other unique delivery mission that they mention here, the quantum sensitive cargo. They do boxes of dilithium whatever. But the problem here is you can't quantum travel with it. So you have to basically go on basic thrusters to take it from its pickup point to its drop-off point. So don't accidentally quantum travel with that on your ship, or otherwise, again, boom. Now the good news is, usually those booms will not blow up your ship. Probably. It might depend on the ship. Yeah, boom, no good. Bounty hunters, obviously straightforward. Go into space, usually go into space and blow things up. Sometimes you'll get them from a specific person. For example, Miles Eckhart likes to throw up a bunch of missions, including this one. The Idris Stolen by Arlington Gang. If you're not familiar with the Idris is a capital ship. It's big. Yes, yeah. The bounty in the cave, yeah, that's another kind of bounty that comes up. I've done those. In fact, I did one earlier this stream. Actually, I don't know if that was a bounty. That might have just been to clear the cave out. But yeah, that came in about maybe 6 months ago, maybe. And a lot of my org mates hate going to the caves to do those things, but I get a kick out of doing them. Idris mission here will pay up to $225,000, but unless you are a really kick-butt pilot in a really kick-butt kind of ship, that Idris will kick your butt. Mainly because damaging it, well, it's a capital ship. Tough ships. Yeah, the ground AI enemies are perhaps calling it not the best would probably be giving them too much credit. But the truth is, it's just the way they are right now. I think there may have been some AI improvements with 3.15. There's going to be some significant changes on that because there are going to be a whole bunch of new missions introduced, like defending a location or infiltrating a location. It won't be just go in and kill all these targets. Oh yeah, my thing's still running here, but the group mission is usually 45 minutes, and if I can't kill this guy in 20 minutes, then I deserve to blow the bounty. I've got a little bit more self-respect for myself here. Now, if I were to do one of those group bounties from Miles Eckhart, that gets a little more challenging because it has the same timer, but one of the targets will usually be around a different planet, which means I'll have to quantum travel to that planet, and that changes things up just a bit. Okay, looks like my primary target is not the closest target. That's my primary target. He's flying a Warden. I can take him. Had a game for 2 days now and was already in prison. Believe me, I get that. I've done my time somewhat regularly. I mean, I'm usually not doing too many of the criminal missions. Oh, you had a bug and that went crime stat. Yes, here's a little tip that I like to mention to people who are sometimes unaware as to what they did wrong. If you go into your journal, you have a little area here that says criminal record. And if you click on it, it'll tell you what crimes you are listed as having committed. So, if ever you get to a point and you think, why am I in prison? There's no reason for me to be in prison. Why do I have this crime stat? You can go to your criminal record and see why they believe you should be in prison. Now, whether or not you consider that an accurate thing or not, bugs do happen. I've gotten crime stat because I tried to take off from a spaceport and the ship was too massive and kind of flipped over and I couldn't get myself right side up and I got nailed for criminal trespassing. It's like, thanks. Oh boy, I've got just a few ships here, don't I? This is going to make life entertaining. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have tried chucking some more missiles at this guy. I didn't think of it. Accidents happen. But if ever you get to a point where you get a crime stat and you're not sure why, that's one thing to do. And depending on the crime, you might be able to pay off the fine. There might be a fine that you can pay off at a terminal. Target destroyed. Love these urban places like Prisoner Area 18. Yeah, they've got some great places around here. Orison, like I said, Orison I like. I just kind of stopped there briefly to pick up this ship, so you didn't. I don't know if you've had a chance to really explore Orison, but I am a fan of Orison. I like the design. It's very different from what you would conceive of as Cloud City, but it looks. I like the look. New Babbage is a beautiful city. That's on Microtech, and that's where the expo is going to be handled this year. Beautiful place. it would be my second choice as a primary home residence. At least until Levski. You wanted to pay the fine, but they didn't let me land anywhere. Okay, well here, okay, another tip then. If you are a criminal, there is somewhere you can go to pay fines, and it is the last place you would expect. Grim Hex. That's right, the home of scum and villainy in the Stanton Star system has terminals where you can pay fines. And unlike most landing zones, Grim Hex doesn't really care what your crime stat is. Now that said, depending on how high your crime stat is, bounty hunters might decide that, hey, he's going to Grim Hex. Let's blow him up there. Never assume that bounty hunters can't figure out what you want to do. They've done it before. You have no idea about Grim Hex. Well, you know what? After I blow this guy up, we'll stop over at Grim Hex. I'll show you exactly where it is, where the fine terminals are. Oh, this guy's not really moving much, is he? I wonder if this guy overloaded his power plant or something. Oh, no, he's got to have something working. He's shooting at me. Oh, I better be careful here. Asteroids. That would be a horrible way to end this fight. What's that about? Grim Hex, or... I'm sorry, I seem to have lost the thread there. Collision alert. Oh, please don't let me hit a rock. Don't let me hit a rock. Or were you talking about the power plant thing? At one point, some of the ships were geared to the point where they overloaded their power plant and stopped working, and so they were basically sitting ducks that you can just blow them up. That may have been fixed, though. Okay, all targets gone. So, Grim Hex. Grim Hex is a space station. It's in, you head to Crusader towards the moon of Yella, and it is orbiting right over here. So we'll set the route to Grim Hex. Sorry for throwing so many random questions. Hey, nothing wrong with it. I am happy to answer. You got questions? I will do my best to answer. I can't guarantee some answers, like I can't tell you the best ships or best equipment or anything like that because, well, they vary from player to player. But I can give you my opinions, and certainly the objective questions I can usually answer up. Now, Grim Hex is actually an asteroid connected to a bunch of other asteroids. But it's the central asteroid that's the one that counts here. I'm going to swap my shield MFD to my communications so that I will be able to ask them for a landing pad. Well, I'm glad to help you out. Everybody who plays this game was once a new player. And I think it's only proper to pass on what has been learned. So hopefully that the new players don't make the same mistakes we did. Of which I have many. Now, the one thing I'd like to point out here is that it's always, and this, if you're not familiar with Grim Hex, you might have trouble finding where the hangar bays are. So what I'd like to use as my landmark is the moon of Yella is on the exact opposite side of the landing bay. So if I can see Yella over here, then I know that on the back end of the asteroid is where the landing bays are. And it's kind of in a little nook here. And this is actually different than it used to be. It used to be that it just had freestanding landing platforms. But now they've got hangars inside the asteroid itself. Just try not to crash into things. Game is beautiful. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's just an amazing experience to be in. There's no instancing. I imagine that will eventually happen with the whole, but they'll make it seem seamless for when eventually they put in new star systems. But I mean, if I wanted to, I could go fly from Grim Hex down to the surface of Yella just on thrusters. My graphic settings, they're probably not all that high. Let's see, what do I have under my graphics? I'm kind of mid-range on everything. I use a 920 1080 monitor, so high quality. And the rest of the stuff's kind of highly variable. I never play with film grain because I hate film grain. I know some people like it. I don't. So I turned that off. So, you know, I'm kind of going from the gamut. Some settings are very high, some are medium. And so far, my computer has not yet melted. What's chromatic aberration? Well, the short answer is, hell if I know. I honestly don't know what some of this stuff is at all. But, you know, a lot of the stuff I leave as the default. I just let the system make the determination as to what's best and let it ride. Except for a couple things like the film grain. Now, Grim Hex will have a clinic here with the next patch, so there may be an emergency elevator somewhere around here. I don't know for sure. Put sharpening on 60. Was there something for sharpening? I just tend to go with what I've got on here, and, you know, it hasn't melted my system. I'm a big fan of not melting my system. It's personal preference. I get that. And you'll probably tinker with your stuff as you go along. In fact, options will be added in regularly. I mean, until recently, we didn't have anything for volumetric clouds because we didn't actually have volumetric clouds. But we do now. And I think they're putting some in on Microtech too at 3.15.1. Let me store my ship here. Don't have to, but it's a habit I'm trying to get into with the 3.15 stuff. It is very RAM hungry. It is. That's why I didn't dare try to do anything with Star Citizen until a couple years ago when I had a computer that was capable of running it. I want to say 128 gig, but I could be wrong. It might be just 64. It's been a while since I've looked up my stats. We're in the lobby of Grim Hex, so what I want to do is we're going to go to the main concourse. Because main concourse is where basically everything interesting is. So, time to go deeper in. Just 65. Well, you know, at the time I was trying to grab stuff that I knew could run things that I wanted to play and not have any problems with. I wanted to be able to play some games at maximum settings. This was, of course, before I realized I'd be playing Star Citizen. Over here on the left, we've got the Grim Hex bar. If you do certain criminal missions, you can do drop-offs for, in the trays down here. You can drop off, say, drug packets. On this level, you've got a couple different locations. Starting from the right-hand side, this kind of loops, and you have basically a criminal clothing store. Okay, I can't really call it criminal. Let's call it underworld clothing store. I'm pretty sure they stole stuff from Kasaba. And you can buy, you know, the long coats here. You can buy other kind of jackets. Shirts that you would not find anywhere else. That sort of thing. And it loops around to the second door. So basically it's kind of one door, loop, other door. If you go down the center here, you'll go down into the depths of Grim Hex where there's a criminal contact. He'll occasionally contact you, and you'll get a waypoint to go to him if you accept that mission at some point. Over here is the admin area. Admin has a couple little features here, but the one that's most significant to me, especially right now, are these terminals here. these are the trade terminals of Grimhex, and they'll buy a lot of stuff. Not everything. For example, I've got some widow drug that I'm slowly bleeding off of my one of my ships. Oh boy, I'll be lucky if I get down to the point of 0 before 3.15 hits. I started out at like something like 1,200 units of widow, so, and this is really the only place that you can sell it for a profit. There's another place you can sell it, but you'll lose money, so I don't do that. Nobody in their right mind sells for a loss. And the final area on this section, if you go down this way, this is going to be important if you want to do the criminal lifestyle. In here, you can purchase crypto keys, and these will allow you to hack in various computers. You'll be able to hack into, say, the ComSats to turn them off. You have 16 and it's maxed out all the time. Yeah, I can believe that. Star Citizen will crush lesser computers. I mean, it's pretty hard even on current computers. I know there's some people out there who have these super uber GPUs and CPUs. I am not one of them. The crypto keys are also handy if you want to go into a security outpost and hack away your crime stat. Let's see, can I quickly look on how much RAM I'm using on my system? Oh, let me see what my task manager is telling me. Memory. Okay, it looks like I'm using... Come on, expand. Okay, according to this, it tells me I'm using 14 gig, I think, if I'm reading this correctly. It is not kind. So yeah, that's certainly hammering. If you have a 16 gig, it is certainly hammering your available memory. Now, if you go up these stairs and you go up another set, this is the fine terminal. So if you have a crime that can be paid off, this is where you would do it. You would use the terminal. If you have fines, it'll tell you the infraction, the date, and how much you have to pay. And you can pay it either singly or all at once. How useful that is depends on your situation. I'm pretty sure that anything that's crime stat 1 should be payable at the terminals. I'm just not 100% sure of that, because 9 times out of 10, if I've got crime stat, it usually tends to end up significantly higher than crime stat 1. Now, when you've gone up these stairs, if you keep going straight ahead, you'll have an airlock to go through here. And at this airlock, if you hang a right, and even if you go through the wrong airlock, if you hang a right, you'll still end up going in the right direction. And that will take you to this shopping place known as Scudder's. Crime stat 1 is only 50 minutes in prison. That's true. But on the other hand, it depends on what you value more, time or credits. And you can buy a bunch of, well, outlaw-looking armor. Some incredibly attractive armor, as you can see here. Doesn't that just look like the face of friendliness? It can get even creepier, though, because... Do I still have that helmet in my inventory? I think I have that helmet in my inventory. Let's see. Where are we? Here we are. How's that for a helmet? Clearly, this is someone who is looking more for function. No, actually, less function, more form. I like to wear the crazy helmets when I'm doing criminal activities because, hey, if you're going to be a criminal, why not look the part? Not to mention a wide assortment of firearms and equipment. I believe you were asking earlier about ammo. This would be definitely one of the places where you can buy lots of ammo. It goes under attachment, and you just find your preferred weapon, and load up. Well, load up until 3.15 lands. Then you'll be kind of limited as to how much you can fit on a ship or in your pockets and stuff. But this would be one of the areas you would buy it. So, Scudder's sells both weapons and ammunition. And, in case it becomes relevant, food and drink. Okay, basically they're MREs and energy bars and water, but, you know, how do you know what ammo to buy? Well, you know, it depends a lot on the guns you're carrying. For example, I'm carrying an I've got a P6LR and a C54. So what I'll do is I go to weapons, I go to attachments. This is all in alphabetical order. So what I'll do is I'll scroll down until I see C54 Submachine Gun magazine. Select it, buy it. I can say how much I want to buy. So if I felt really crazy, I could buy 1,000 clips of this ammo, which would be insane, especially in 3.15. Luckily, you can also go back down to 1, so... there you go, yeah, excellent. And the attachments also have things like scopes and laser sights and field lights, in case you have a bug that's hosing your helmet light. You can always have a flashlight on your gun. How much do I buy normally? Okay, well this is where things get a little more complicated. The reason why it gets complicated is because 3.15 is going to change everything as far as how much I would buy. Up until recently, I would buy, a lot depends on the weapons and I'm using. For the S71 or the P6LR, I don't need much more than, say, 20 clips. Mainly because by the time I use them all, odds are the game will have had a new patch and be starting from scratch again. But if I need more, I just grab me that kind of quantity. For a C54 Submachine Gun, I get a little more extravagant. Now, admittedly, I don't think I'm carrying a whole lot now. We're near the end of a patch cycle, so I have burned through my stuff just a little bit. So let's go to my weapons, go to my spare weapon magazines. Right now I've got, I've got 29 P4 AR magazines, but I think that, I'm trying to figure out why I bought them for P4 ARs. I almost never use those. And 19 FS9s. Why did I do that? Here we go. I've got 45, count them, 45 available clips for C54. And here's another thing too. You'll notice that right now it says I have 11 in use. That's because, well, as has been mentioned, bugs happen, equipment gets lost for some reason, or I die or something like that. So I like to have plenty of backups. Now, again, 3.15 is going to change a lot of things here, so I still haven't worked out the plan for that. Why 45 clips? Because the submachine gun goes through ammo like water. I wanted to make sure I had plenty. I've got 17 P6LR clips, and that's kind of understandable because they only have 8 shots per clip. Let's see, is there anything else that I went overboard on? I don't even know why I bothered 11 clips for the Coda pistol. If I'm using my pistol, things have gone horribly, horribly wrong for me. There we go, 42 for the S71, which I'm not entirely sure. I probably still have 42 because I probably bought that much for the C54. But I go through the C54 ammo a lot faster than I go through the S71s. I probably didn't need 42 clips. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Again, things are going to change with 3.15. It might turn out to be an issue of how much am I willing to carry on a ship? How much can I store in my armor before I hang them on actually on the armor? Do I want a backpack? Do I want to carry stuff in my backpack? It's going to vary wildly. I really haven't given too much thought to that yet. But it's obviously something I'll have to think about really, really soon. Because it's gonna happen. One more area I kind of want to point out here at Grim Hex here before I start wrapping things up here is that if you keep going on this level, at some point there's going to be a space racetrack around here. Oh, let's see. How much are the 2 extra weapons for the Aurora MR, and where can I buy them, and how do I equip them? Okay, well, this is where it gets a little tricky. Ship weapons can be bought at a number of places, depending on, again, where you happen to be. Center Mass will have them at Area 18 and at New Babbage. Dumper's Depot might have some. That's also at Area 18, but I don't know if they'll have the guns on that one. They will have them at Port Olisar. There's a couple weapon shops on some of the on this various R&R stations. Hello, Digital Peasant. I'm not entirely sure what Mrishka Hargitay is. I apologize if I'm not speaking your language, because I'm not entirely sure what that is. There's a number of places where you can find the weapons. They're not horribly expensive, but again, it depends on the type of weapons you're buying. And I think the best way to illustrate this is to go to the Dumper's Depot they have on Grim Hex. Let me just take a quick second here to show the best part about the racetrack, though. The racing track doesn't work yet, but they do allow you to buy bottles of beer. Oh, she's an American actress. Okay. Yeah, you have your beer here. One of the only places where you can buy beer in bottles. And until recently, that was the only place. But thanks to the coming of Orison, you can buy bottles over at their, over in the Stratus building. I'm not entirely sure what the store is offhand. So, Dumper's Depot. Yeah. And here we have a few fellows here who don't know how to operate a door. Let's make their lives a little happier. Oh, more guys who don't know how to, I'm just going to walk around this way, guys. You guys do you. Is it Duff beer? Well, you know, it's smolts. That's the best we can do. It's how good a beer it is an open question. No, I don't want to go there. Is it even on this? Yes, it's on. Okay, it's over here. Dumper's Depot here should have some ship weapons, and we can identify some size 1s.
Let me know if there's anything I can help you with.
Weaponry, guns. Now, the Aurora MR is basically has spots for size 1 guns, so you'll be looking at size 1 ships. Now, if you were to buy them here at Grim Hex, you'd have available a ballistic repeater. Again, at the moment, I really don't recommend ballistic repeaters. Unacceptable. Well, you know, can't help you there. Who knows what kind of stuff they put in their beer here in the Stanton system. Maybe the Pyro system will have more exotic liquors. Mass driver cannon. Again, looks like it's a ballistic thing. I have a hard time recommending ballistic weapons right now. And unfortunately, that seems to be all the ones they have at Dumper's Depot and Grim Hex, so I don't recommend shopping at Grim Hex to get your guns for the Aurora. Port Olisar may be a better bet. So why don't we just take a quick hop to Olisar and see what they've got. Jump! Jump! Oh, I didn't cripple myself too badly. The Aurora needs size 1. Yeah, the Aurora is a very small ship. It can't handle very large. Speaking of bugs, we have the... Oh, how about that? I was actually able to walk through it. That's new. Uh-oh. This was a mistake. I've made an error. Open the doors. Open the doors. I think we've got an elevator looped on an elevator. Oh no! What have I done? What have I done? I've trapped myself in the elevator. Oh, I've chosen poorly. Maybe I'll be lucky, and if I can get down to the lobby, maybe the elevator I'm in will... Oh, thank heavens. Is the... No, actually, it's not. Oh, I've made a horrible crouch jump. Yeah, I wish I'd thought of that earlier, because now it's too late. Unless someone else comes in and, you know, brings the elevator back down. Well, when in doubt, slice it out. This probably will not be my best option with the next patch. And as you can see, the habitation units of Grimhex are, well, just as comfortable as you would expect. And, you know, got garbage lying around. We've got puddles of what I really, really hope are water. I'm not going to make any guesses on this because this is Grimhex. Okay, let's try elevator again. Okay, I like this elevator. The doors are opening properly. And the elevator is appropriate. I like this elevator. Good elevator. Actually, that was when I was in prison, when I woke up there once. Yeah, prison is not exactly what we would call the nicest area, but of course, you would expect that. It's jail. It's not going to be the nicest place. But Grimhex, oh, so much worse. Okay, we're not, you know what, we'll take the risk, why not? We're almost at the end of this patch cycle, and they probably won't arrest me. Bowls of urine. Yeah, I was trying to not go there precisely, but yes, that is my prediction as to what all the water on the ground is. We'll head over to Port Olisar in my pride and joy. Crusader Industries Mercury Star Runner. And there's a few of my crates of, shall we say, ill-gotten gains. In fact, I'm sure that if I open up my secret compartment, I'm betting the rest of them are, well, no. Why would they not put my drugs in the scan-shielded area? Well, hopefully nobody will notice. Almost as big as the Aurora. Yeah, we'll say that. Open sesame. There we go. Sometimes the doors in here are cranky. There are some people who tell you that there are a few too many doors in here. I say, wait till they put to the point where oxygen is evacuated when you open the doors, and then we'll see if you have a problem with them. Okay. Open sesame.
You okay to...
Mercury ready for takeoff. I like to say that if Han Solo got the ship he really wanted, it would look a lot like this. Yeah, this Door City. Yeah, actually, you know what it reminds me of? And I admit that I'm going to be horribly dating my age here, but you know what? I'm doing it anyway. If you ever saw the old TV show, Get Smart, the opening involved the main character going through a whole bunch of series of doors. One after the other, after the other, after the other. That's what this reminds me of. Okay, make sure I'm not pointed to any nearby asteroids, because that would be painful. Too young for that, yeah. Like I said, I'm really dating myself by even mentioning that, but you know, I gotta be me. Why am I? Oh, there's a rock in the way. That's how come I can't get there right away. Still obstructed. Still obstructed. For heaven's sake, how far out of the way do I gotta go to get there? There we are. MSR is very cool. Yes, I agree completely. This is my personal favorite ship. It's still lacking on some of its core functionality. Oh, I better turn the engines off here. As you may have noticed, there should be a space station right here, and it hasn't spawned in yet, so I'm going to turn off my engines so I don't do something stupid like crash into it. There we go. Now it's spawned in. It doesn't have the electronic data running gameplay that it's supposed to be able to handle, but it has a decent-sized cargo hold, and it's just cool. I never had any doubt that this would be one of the ships I pledged. They seem to be coming in a little... There we go. Right side up. Let's open communications, so they'll give me a landing pad. Once upon a time, Olisar was where new players came in to start the game. It doesn't anymore. It's not anymore. There were a couple of little problems with Olisar, like the fact that there were people who got a giggles out of crashing their ships or shooting ships that were on landing pads. That's one of the reasons why you see a lot of... there we go. That's one of the reasons why you see an awful lot of hangars and not a lot of landing pads anymore. Okay, off we go. We'll turn off the engines, but we're going to leave the power on because of the aforementioned likelihood of people shooting my ship on the pad. I don't think it'll be a big problem right now because I think most of those people are probably in the public test universe right now. What's the button for engines? My keybind is the letter I. If I type the letter I, it'll turn on and off my engines. U will turn on and off the power. And if you turn off the power, obviously it turns off the weapons, the shields, and all that stuff. I'm running the wrong way, aren't I? I'm going the right way, yeah. Another reason why I turn off the engines is supposedly there's some sort of code logic that will have backwash coming from active engines, so if you try to approach it from the rear and the engines are on, you might be blown back. But I've never actually seen it happen. Okay, Port Olisar, and I'm almost where I want to be because it's over here where we have the Dumpers Depot. Such a flex when you can walk under the ship. Yes, indeed. Do the limbo or the crouch. Let's see what weapons we've got available here. Okay, while this sounds like a good one, it really, well, maybe. You see, this is a distortion repeater, and distortion weapons are basically anti-shield weapons. And theoretically, they'll do things to the power supply, but depending on the patch you're on, that may or may not be effective. But you know, it occurs to me that it probably wouldn't be a bad thing to match up with whatever guns are on the Aurora right now, because you use the distortions to blow out the shields, and then you use your other guns to tear up the ship. So, you know, that's a possible strategy. FL11. Now, that might be a pretty good choice there, because that is a laser cannon. Rate of fire is not fast, but it will hurt, and most importantly, it does not run out of ammo. And I cannot stress enough that running out of ammo is something you do not want to have happen. Finally, not quite finally, we've got a ballistic scatter gun. They're basically like space shotguns. Yep, they're only 5,000, well, 5,200, but close enough. The size 1 weapons, as a general rule, are not horribly expensive. Which makes sense, because, you know, small weapons. The scatter guns are basically space shotguns. I guess that's the best way to put it. I'm kind of iffy on scatter guns to begin with. Plus, this one's a ballistic, so, you know, that's a strike against it automatically there.
We're sorry. You've exceeded the allotted time to depart.
Ah, yes, the landing bay
Have to
people
return your
complaining
ship to
again.
storage.
We've got close to 11,000 credit gun here. This is a neutron
Initiating ship
cannon.
storage procedure. For your safety, please vacate the area.
It's pretty damaging. I haven't used it very much. I tend to like to go for the energy repeaters, because a lot of the fast ships, you might think that you want to
Initiating
use
ship
faster
storage
guns.
procedure. For your safety, please vacate the area.
But a lot depends on, you know, practice and experience. And that takes care of the size 1 weaponry here at Dumper's Depot. What I'm going to do, to make your life even easier, I'm pretty sure if I still have that command operating, this website here will do a great job on telling you the kind of things that you can load on a ship as far as weapons, shields, power plants. Urkel has some of the best details out there. At the moment, if I were shopping here at Port Olisar, I would recommend the FL11, yes, because energy weapon, inexpensive, size 1. It hits all the check marks. But you can use the Urkel site there to basically figure out your ideal build. Now, I'm pretty sure it's up to date. A lot of the stats may look pretty similar because they did a big normalization. Where are you looking on that website? Yeah. Basically what you would do is you would select a ship, and then you can play with loadouts. You would basically be doing the same kind of things you would do on your vehicle management screen. Except, you know, it can't actually interact with the game. But it'll show you what'll fit on your ship. If maybe you're putting on too much stuff that draws too much power, you can find out what good shields are, or good is probably a relative term. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. It's worth but it's worth taking the time to explore and check out. And the best part about it is once you've selected weapons on there, you can also have it tell you where to buy those weapons. So say, for example, that's pulling off at random here. Say I've got an RSI Aurora MR. I know that's a stretch, right? And say that I want to buy 2 more CF117 Bulldog repeaters. If I went under Urkel, I would select the CF117 Bulldog repeaters, and I could find out where those guns are being sold. And then you just, you know, fly over to that location, buy the guns, put them on the ship. Now, one more thing I want to mention here. If you buy the guns themselves, those guns will be fixed. They will not be gimbaled. What you can do, and of course it's going to cost more credits, but you know, that's why you get the nest egg built up. When you go to weaponry, you'll see an option here that says turret. And among the various turrets they have here will be the Very Puck gimbal mounts. And they, you know, they have their own sizes. So what you would do is you would buy a size 1 mount for your Aurora, and you would be able to attach size 1 guns to it. Now, if your ship can handle a larger size for that hard point, say if you had a size 3 gun hard point, what you could do is you could buy a size 3 gimbal mount, and then you would be able to load onto the gimbal mount a size 2 weapon. For the most part, you can, if you mount a gimbal mount onto the equivalent size gun mount on your ship, you can equip a gun on the gimbal that has 1 size less. The exception is obviously the size 1 gimbal, because they don't have size 0 weapons. Unless you want to count the guns you're carrying, you know, with your pistols and rifles and snipers and stuff like that. And no, they don't fit on the ship. They don't work like that. So if you want to have, if you're still working on playing with gimbals, you buy the gimbals first, and you can see that they're pretty affordable. They're less than 1,000 credits each. So you would buy 2 gimbals and 2 size 1 guns. Combine that with the gimbals and guns that you already have on the ship, and you would be working with 4 gimbaled size 1 guns. And that's a pretty respectable way to start your bounty hunting career. How do you know what size your ship has? Well, if you're looking in game, you'd select your ship, and let's see, I don't know if I'll be able to do it with the Aurora since I don't have it at this location. Okay, good. If you hover your cursor over the various weapon areas, if you look on the main display down here, it'll show what size it is. So, for example, I've got this missile rack. It's a size 1 missile rack. You cannot upgrade the size, but for missiles, you can buy a different style of rack that might allow you to, say, either reduce the number of missiles for a bigger missile, or increase the number of missiles for smaller missiles. It varies. For my left weapon here, it's a size 1, so I've got a size 1 gimbal mount on it, and once I put the gimbal mount on, it opens up this slot, which can hold a size 1 gun. Do you have to be in your ship to equip the weapons? No. In fact, it's better. In fact, you really can't. You have to, A, have the ship either, well, with 3.15, you have to have the ship in whatever location you have the gun at, and B, it has to be stored. Now, right now, it can be in the mythical stored hammer space area, so as long as it's not at a physical location, you can equip the stuff anywhere. For example, I've got a Talon. I've got a Talon that I haven't actually called up anywhere, so I can actually play with this equipment. Why can I only read the Aurora? Well, the Aurora is read-only for me right now because I do have it located at a specific location. I don't remember what landing zone I have it at right now, but it's not Port Olisar. If I had the ship at Port Olisar and it was stored, then this would no longer be read-only, and I would be able to manipulate stuff here. So, for example, the Talon, I don't have associated with a specific landing zone. So now I can fiddle around with things. I can change up my missile racks, and while I have all my missile racks in use, you can see how I've got multiple possibilities here. This missile rack holds 2 size 2s. Let's go back here. This missile rack here. There we go. This missile rack here, that'll hold 1 size 3. This is a rocket pod. This one's crazy because this one holds 18 size 1 rocket pods. I don't even know how those work. And this one has 4 size 1s. And any of these would fit in this particular missile rack slot, because this thing can apparently handle size 3 missile racks. This has a gimbal mount. It's a size 4 gimbal mount. I can either put on a size 4 gun, or I can leave on the size 4 gimbal mount. The size 4 gimbal mount allows me to mount on a gimbaled size 3 weapon. One less than the gimbal mount. So this has gimbals on basically 2 Light Strike 3 cannons, which are laser cannons. If I wanted to, I could unequip the gimbal mount. I could put on a different gun that's size 4. Now that would mean it would no longer be gimbaled, it would be locked. And I could do the same thing with over here. So now instead of using those Light Strike cannons with gimbals, size 3, I'm using size 4s that are fixed. Why can you only put a size 2 and a size 3 gimbal? Well, the short answer is because that's the way they're built. You can only put on a gimbal something that's 1 size smaller than the gimbal. If I have a size 6 gimbal, I can't put a size 6 gun on that gimbal. I have to put on a size 5. That's the price you pay for having the flexibility of the gimbals. Now, at some point, you will probably practice enough times where you'll decide, hey, I could probably do this stuff on fixed. And at which point you'll just probably yank out the gimbal mounts and say, let's use the fixed guns and see how much better they are. So size 4 mount and a size 4 gimbal will have a size 3 weapon. Yes, that is exactly it. You have it nailed down perfectly. So you basically have a choice. You can either go with a size 4 weapon, which will be fixed, or you can grab the size 4 gimbal mount and put on a size 3 weapon on it, which will give you the gimbal flexibility for that weapon. Mileage will vary. When I started out, gimbals were the end-all be-all. But after a while, you'll get practice. You'll start wanting to try out to see if you can do more damage with more hits if you do the fixed. You practice, you learn. And that's basically one of the reasons why I tend to do locked a lot for fighters. But I still use the gimbals for those large ships because, man, you gotta be able to track those things. Okay, I'm gonna restore this guy's default stuff because, I don't even know why I bother, since it's going to be gone in a few days. And you're welcome, you're welcome. I'm happy to help out here. However, we are at 4:30, which is local time, which is a bit later than I usually run. But, hey, it was worth it. So we're going to be wrapping things up here for today's stream. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm glad to help out, glad to have people to chat with. I will stream again, Star Citizen, next Saturday, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern to approximately 3 p.m. Eastern. Hey, I'm right ahead of you there. I also stream Star Trek Online, if you have an interest in that game. I do that on Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Again, those end times tend to be kind of variable depending on, how the stream is going. Things went interesting today, so, I went long today. It happens. I don't mind it. It's fun. Again, thank everyone for watching, whether you're watching this live on Twitch or video on demand afterwards, either on Twitch or on my YouTube channel. Glad to have you here. This is Korath Landwalker, signing off.